mistake was?
Yes.
Where was it?
It was like where I do the, I think, I don't really know if I was ahead or behind.
It wasn't you.
Oh.
Measure 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth going into the fifth bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the tenors held the D too long.
Okay.
Or the alto, sorry. Not bad. What's the style you want?
I felt like, based on watching stuff on Monday, I feel like more people were doing it marcato when I was listening to it. Seems more legato to me, so I was trying to achieve more legato.
Good. Yep. I can definitely see that. So that's great. Why don't you conduct everybody playing the soprano part? Okay. So everybody plays soprano and just start this a few times. Yeah, one more time. Everybody playing soprano. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, okay. So when you do legato, this is for everybody. A tendency in legato is to sort of, it's almost like you start here, the motion comes up, and then instead of coming back down to the same place with a legato style, there's a certain amount of and so it almost looks like you're trying to trick the group when you do that, right? So instead of this, still keep the same, or at least the same-ish of the up and down, the vertical motion. It's just you're moving between the beats smoother, right? So it's this versus this. Right, so kind of, do you guys all see the difference, right? Looks like where do I play? Okay, do it one more time with everybody playing soprano. Good. Now do it without being marcato. Good. One more time. Good. And lastly, on the prep, feel that subdivision. You're trying to show them in the prep. Yum, bum, 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 bum. Good, good. Once you get going in legato, for everybody, the ensemble will play farther behind you in legato than they will in marcato. If you're not prepared for that, then your instinct will be to pull away quicker, and suddenly you're conducting marcato, right? So you just have to sort of know that's going to happen. Okay, one more time. Very nice. Yeah, good. Okay, now in parts with cueing and all that. Sorry, that prep rushed a bit and felt kind of. That's much better. Did it feel better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how did it feel different?
I was actually subdividing more, and also I felt like I was clear. I wasn't following as much. And I was staying consistent with what I was doing instead of kind of just feeling like I was catching everyone.
Yeah. Great. Good. Yeah. Well done. So, many keyboards, really?
Dr. Arabic needed one for his class.
Aha, okay. All right. Well, we'll figure that out. I have one in my basement. So I can... Who's next? Okay.
I'll do the same one.
I don't hate that idea. Dr. Chung might hate that idea. What happened?
I don't know, the end kind of seemed really muddy.
Yeah, it did. Can you, when the tenors come in, can you listen for? This is gonna sound a little squishy, everybody, but listen for what you want from the group as a whole, right? So you really do need to be able. Everybody should start being able now to hear each of these parts before you get on the podium, right? And then while you're on the podium, being able to listen to all of them. It's a skill that you'll have to continue to develop, but you really do need to be able to keep track. Here's what the soprano is doing, and I'm hearing that while I'm dealing with what the basses, are doing. So can you just listen harder when you do this?
Yeah.
Okay. Start with the tenors, and then the tenor entrance. So everybody measures 7. What do you want for style?
I'm thinking like a nice kind of mixture between legato and marcato.
Okay. Could you describe what that means?
I want the front of the beat to be kind of forward, but I want it to last and be smooth.
Good. So connected at the end, but clear at the front.
Yeah.
Okay, great. What does that then translate for us technically as conductors?
I think that the beginning of the beat needs to be more pointed when we're conducting it, and then
Yep.
just flow into the next beat.
Yeah, good. So is it a legato? Like if you're thinking about subdivision, is it a legato or is it marcato? Is it-
Probably more legato.
Yeah, probably more legato. Okay. I can see you trying to grab control by pulling away, and that's making it more marcato and actually giving you a little less control. Part of the reason is you're down here, so come up a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Actually, drop your hands. Drop your arms. Okay. I was actually curious if maybe your arms were especially long. Okay, back up. Good. Scrunch up your shoulders and drop. Okay, good. Now look at where the baton is pointed. And can you point at the group instead of at the snails? There you go. Right, now start to conduct. Yeah, as soon as you started to conduct, so you were here, you went like this. Right? Yeah. Good. Yeah. For me, this is one of the things that listening closer does. It somehow brings my pattern. This is kind of passive. You guys do your thing. I'm not paying attention anyway, right? But if I start to listen harder, I do kind of. I can find the baton actually raises just a little bit. Okay, just conduct it. keep it that level. So it happens. Okay, everybody? In the beginning? Yeah. So the problem is, like, when you're down that low, the tip of the baton actually dips below the stand, and you want to avoid that. So either keep the stand lower, or come back higher. Were you confused by the bass entrance, or was it a technical thing?
I think it was a technical thing.
Okay. What do you think it was?
I think after I let the tenors in,
Uh-huh.
I like kind of lost sense of
Uh-huh.
where it was.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it and I was like, okay, I need to let the basses in.
Yeah, that's a little bit what it felt like when the basses started to play too. It felt kind of like we're here, right? And so yeah, just be a little. Again, think about when you would put your saxophone up to start playing. Okay, measure 7, everybody. 7. That's much better. Yeah. You still want to work on bringing the plane up just maybe 2 or 3 inches. It's not much. It's too low, it looks passive. Good. Okay. Who's next? Okay. Emma. Right in order. Perfect.
I'll do 8-2.
Okay. Haley, what is it about Alan Gilbert that you like? Why is he your favorite conductor?
Just like, I don't know, his presence is very powerful, I think.
Good. Just curious.
He's very present.
Very present. Yep. Also, New York Philharmonic royalty. Former music director Nick Phil, both his parents were in the violin section. He used to go on tours with them when he was a kid, then he became music director. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. So I love that, like, everything is like led by the tip of the baton and the wrist is involved. That's really great. I'd love to see it a little bit lower, just a little bit, because for me, that looks to me like you're sort of conducting from here, and I feel the urge to take a shallow breath when it's up here, you know? So it's just a matter of coming from here to It's a really small difference. Okay, can you just conduct something by just abstract conduct? Good. Huh? Very nice. Now when you show the legato, you're actually dropping below the plane for each of your downbeats. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's sort of messing with our sense of the tempo just a little bit. So come to this. So wherever you start, that's where your 1 is. That make sense? Yeah, try it again. 1, 2, 3, and freeze in the downbeat. Freeze. Yeah, you see how you're pointing down? Like that? So your downbeat should be more like this. So you don't have that. Yeah. Very nice. Good. Everybody play the soprano part. We conduct everybody playing soprano. Yep. So keep returning to the same place. For the same place you start is where you return to for beat 1. Now there's another little thing that I think is related. Because you have that extra space, like because you've been having that extra space for 1, it's actually changing the tempo between the prep and the rest of the beat. So what it looks like for us is 4, 1, 2, 3, right? So it looks like you've got 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Because that extra space causes you to lag, and then beats 2 and 3 are in what you perceive as the tempo, okay? So what I want you to do is get that tempo really square in your head first, get that subdivision as clear as the tempo, and then start conducting and maintain that the whole time. Okay, so it looks like you're waiting for them. Do it. So do it one more time in parts. In parts. Think about that subdivision, and always come back to the same place for the downbeat. Lower your hands just a little bit. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Do you feel that? Do you feel that the prep was? So the prep was faster than the beats. Do it one more time. Prepping 4, so double prep. Out, 4, 1. Much better. Very nice. Yeah, that downbeat thing, that'll take you 10 seconds to fix, because that was already a lot better. Practice it a few times in the mirror. Okay. The tempo thing, you are going to want to conduct a few times in a mirror with a metronome. It's not. There is sometimes everybody a funny disconnect, and you've all felt it at this point, between I'm keeping a steady tempo, but am I showing a steady tempo? And that's not always the same thing. Yeah. Otherwise, well done. Bravo. Next. I can go. Okay.
I'll do the 8-1.
Did you say?
8-1.
Noah, when you wrote Gustav Mahler, did you mean him as your favorite conductor or your favorite composer? I'm just curious.
I don't remember what you asked.
Oh, okay. I asked for favorite piece and then favorite conductor, instrumental conductor. And Mahler was both, so that's why I'm asking. Is
I meant conducting.
okay. All right. I'm struck because your favorite piece was "Girl with the Flaxen Hair," and then I see Gustav Mahler, and I think those are two like opposite ends of the spectrum.
Man of many tastes.
That's good. That's good. I'm curious how you would have seen Gustav Mahler conduct. Dead for 110 years.
I don't really know that many conductors.
Okay.
So I just said the first
Uh-huh.
one. Can I do that again?
Good. I'm just gonna stop here for the sake of time. It's a small little thing. I see you taking the breath, which is great. I want you to think more about them breathing than you breathing. Okay? Because I see your prep more in your like lower back than in your arms. And if you just think of their breath, it'll put all that more in your arms.
Okay. I got kind of lost at the end there.
Yeah. And when you get lost, what happens?
It gets noodly.
Well, okay, yeah. Actually, true. I meant you specifically, not when one gets lost. Like, what is your tendency when you get lost or confused?
I usually just keep going and hope that
Okay.
as long as I'm steady, I hope that something can wake up.
Okay, right. But when you get lost, you rush.
Ah,
Yeah, and that was what happened. Is you kind of got confused, fine, but then it sped up.
okay.
Okay, so having that like that background of yum bump 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 at least gives you that to grab onto. Okay, this unit, all of this unit is I forget even what I called it. I think I called it meter changes and cueing. Okay, the reality is this unit is the theme is sometimes it's confusing to be a conductor. That's the theme, okay? Because it's all about keeping track of cues and keeping track of, and then we're going to next week do keeping track of meter changes, okay? And we've got to be able to kind of hold all that in our heads at the same time while, fixing your 7th graders shifting or, the clarinets, that's not the right thing, whatever. So that subdivision is your, that's your lifeline. Grab onto that. Okay? Do it one more time. Huh. Could you feel what happened?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I just don't know how to. I don't
Think.
know where the disconnect is.
Yep.
I know it's here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What's not letting me count this?
Yep. Try percussionists. You're all gonna struggle with this, but instead of it being that's the sound, okay? Actually, think of the sound as here, 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 here. So instead of the sound happening when the mallet would strike the thing, think of it as when you pull away from the beat.
Okay.
Okay. More of a pizzicato than a snare drum. Yep, yeah. You know where your rushing starts is actually on your descents. So you'll 1, and then I can see you thinking ahead to the next thing. But when you start to think ahead, you then start to move ahead. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So think of that secondary point as being as much of an ictus point as the actual ictus, right? 1 and. Okay, do measure 7. You're already starting to rush. One more time. Slow down the rebounds and the descents. Yeah, that's a lot better. Good, bravo. All right. Something that'll help with what Noah's dealing with. Everybody, hand or baton, doesn't matter. Put your hand at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You remember this? 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. 9, smooth it out. 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9. Get bigger. 12, 3, 6, 9. 12, get smaller. 3, 6, smaller. 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. If you found yourself getting either behind or ahead, that means that your perception of the subdivision while moving through time needs to be a little bit adjusted. That's all it is. Okay. All right, who's next? Okay. Ricardo Muti. Yes. We have lots of opportunities around here to see him. Or we used to. Have you seen Muti in Chicago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there so like all the time.
Yeah?
What is it at night? $15 ticket?
Same one. It's a steal. Yeah. And then cut off? Right. Yeah, okay, good. You're kind of waiting for them. Right? If you wait for them, then they end up waiting for you, and then you wait longer for them, and they wait for you. Right? So somebody has to be the person driving the boat. And that unfortunately is the one standing on the box. Okay? So keep that subdivision steady. Okay? There obviously is everybody a balance between there's a difference between leading people and commanding them to follow you. Do you know what I mean? And so what we're trying to find now is some of us tend to be too much of the one thing, where we beat time and don't pay attention to what the group is doing. And then some of us tend to be too much of the other thing, where you get going and it's like, is that right? Are you coming with me? Are you with me now? So it's finding that middle ground. You tend to be too much of waiting and seeing what happens, as opposed to expecting something and then evaluating it happen. So be a little bit more insistent on the pulse. Do it again. Good. One more time. You were very nice to him. Make sure you bring them in. Do it again. Aha, yeah, right. So I saw what you, I saw you, what I saw you do was altos you should be playing now, right? Bring them in. So breathe with them. One more time. Now look at the altos. Very nice. Yep, good. So that was the bass entrance was good. Tenor entrance, you actually keyed them a bar late, right? So keep track and breathe with them. Okay, one more time. Just have to direct your attention to the groups a little earlier. That's all. Yeah, when if you're gonna when you cut off a note, how long do you hold the note?
I feel like it shouldn't.
Well, yeah, if there's a fermata, that's yeah. In this case, just make sure it gets the full count, the full bar. Okay, because if you end early, then people get confused. Right? I have been in situations, learn from my mistake. I've made many of them that you all can learn from, where I don't hold the note long enough, and so I show a cutoff. But the cutoff was either somebody thought it was for somebody else, or the whole orchestra hadn't actually been paying attention yet. They weren't expecting a cutoff. So I've cut off and stopped, and there's still people playing because they didn't know to look for a cutoff yet. Right? So, you know, yes, I'm the one telling you when to stop, but I have to be, you know, within the realm of right. Is where I have to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And you know what? If you watch some of these older conductors, they do some version of that, right? And that's kind of where it comes from. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Matt, you still need to think a little earlier, like draw your attention to the groups a little sooner. But otherwise, that's good. You're on the right track. Bravo. The brackets that I talked about when marking your scores. So I developed that after a system that one of my choral conducting teachers used to use. His was just lines, right? So you know it would be just a line and then S for soprano. But the way he conceptualized that is that line is a breath. So basically, any time that you have to listen for a preparatory breath from a group, that's where you put the line, right? So it's just a way to keep track of, you know, sopranos and altos, tenors, bass, whatever. So that's the way he conceived of the system in his scores. That's a breath, if that helps. Great. Next. A couple more. All right.
I'll do 8-2.
Thank you. Who's concerto for marimba and strings?
Emmanuel Sejourné.
Sejourné. Okay. Yeah, good. I feel like the tenor entrance may have been a little early, but otherwise the cues are great. When you like direct your attention at people, you kind of like sort of lunge at them.
Yeah.
I actually though was thinking that if this was something like Hall of the Mountain King or something, those gestures would have been great.
Yeah.
You know. That's perfect. Would be a little bit more, with Bach, a little more staid. Okay. One technical thing. Do you want marcato or legato?
I was thinking more marcato.
Good. That's what I thought, but I saw you second guess yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So stick to it. Everybody start with play the soprano line. And get the style you want. Good. Yep. When you show the breath, feel it here, not so much here. One time. Okay. Yeah. So I think the way you're feeling that breath, play for me, everybody. You're sort of doing. Okay. And I think I'd like a little bit more of how about the bellows?
Yeah.
One more time. Yeah, right. So feeling that, you get the tia.
Yeah.
I think that's part of why you're leaning. Is if you're not feeling the breath here, you have to feel it somewhere. In parts. Stay tall. Okay, yeah, bravo, good. Okay, I think we're gonna have to do the rest of these next time. So Abby, Selena, Jordan, Daniel, and Faye, you'll go next week. But for next week, everybody, we're gonna add the other excerpts as well. These are meter change